Hi, everybody. I tried to go live on by using the YouTube picture that I made, and I just couldn't figure it out. I've got to watch the tutorial. Everybody. So I tried to go. Anyway, I'm going to go. So sorry if you had to jump over. Hopefully this shows up on the feed. And if you were waiting on the other video, I'm sorry, but I'm going to figure this out. That's one of my goals. Okay, so I just wearing my grandfather's hat, and he's one of my spirit guides. In fact, he is the person who told me to study astrology. That is, or to study the stars. That's a story that I will share one day. He was a naval bomber hero, World War II hero pilot, captain of a squad, and he used the stars so that he could turn. And he turned off his navigation at night so he couldn't be detected by the enemy. And so his knowledge of astronomy and astrology saved many people's lives. So anyway, all right. Today we're going to talk about this eclipse in Pisces. I'm going to pull cards. I'm going to share the chart on it. We're going to look at all the 12 signs or the 12 houses. And for the ascendant or sun, your moon, you can look at it for all three. Could impact in any of those. And most likely does if you have sun, moon, or ascendant on those degree points. You're definitely going to feel it. Okay, so let's take a look at this eclipse. It is in the sign of Pisces, very spiritual. And it is, let's take a look. Okay, so there we are at the eclipse. The sun is at 25 degrees Virgo, and the moon is at 25 degrees Pisces. And it's sandwiched right in between Saturn and Neptune, which is going to be very interesting. Because these are some very long, slow transits. Saturn, Pisces are both going into retrograde. And then these two planets, Saturn and Neptune, are going to meet eventually, which could be another pandemic. But again, it doesn't indicate how bad of one it is. But it did this transit. Saturn and Neptune were together in 1918 for the big flus. So I can't remember what it was called, but it was a big virus that killed a lot of the Spanish flu. That's right. So anyway, this is the eclipse ruled by Jupiter and Neptune is right there. It's conjoining Neptune. So if you are ruled by Neptune or Jupiter, you're going to feel it even more. And Neptune is pointing the way in some sort of spiritual, holy trinity triangle with, it's not a trine, but it's very powerful because it makes this beautiful, protective, spiritual guidance of higherness, of higher. And so if your chart is being hit by these, most people are. This is a very slow transit. So these are the outer planets moving very slowly, blessing us. The more spiritual we go with our guide, the more we connect for spiritual higher guidance, astrology, that is Pisces at the higher realm, higher dimensions. Aries is the most, if you were to cut the chart here, Pisces is the highest dimension. Aries is the most earthly. It's action. Pisces is least action. It's the most receptive energy, closest to the higher wisdom of the divine and psychic. It connects with the higher realm, knowledge of the higher knowledge, ruled by Jupiter, which is for the good of humanity, and Neptune, which is very spiritual and non-ego. It's sort of like foggy. It's sort of intuitive, and it can be the arts and music. So this Pisces eclipse is going to change an area in our birth chart wherever we have Pisces. And the eclipses are going to be in Pisces and Virgo for the next 2 years. So those houses are going to be shaken up. And there's going to be a lot of fated shifts and turns in these planets of Pisces and Virgo. We also have another Aries eclipse coming next year in spring. I don't remember the degree at that. But anyway, that's the end of the Aries Libra eclipses for a while. And then we're going to go into Virgo Pisces. So the nodes, as the nodes move closer to the sign of the full moon and new moons, is when you get the eclipses. So in that sign that the nodes are in. And the eclipses are fated shifts and turns in our destiny. They bring endings and major new beginnings. So with these Pisces eclipse, we're really ending a lot of karma. We're really clearing our, I would say, lower density fears. We're shifting to more faith. Jupiter's in the sign of Gemini, which is ruling the eclipse, which is like giving everybody knowledge and information and communication, open-mindedness. Gemini is willing to learn and new concepts, new ideas. So it's like we're really expanding consciousness and conversations about that, because Jupiter is, what is Jupiter doing on this eclipse exactly? What's Jupiter? Jupiter is sextile Chiron, and Chiron is in Aries. And Chiron Aries is all about, us shifting into healing the parts within us that have blocked insecurities or low densities issues or fears or insecurities that have stopped us from stepping forward and being brave and lead. Because this new generation, the new era, we need lots of people willing to step forward and make changes, which is what leading is. And it's creative energy. Creativity is for things that have never been made before. So it's like the things that were made before get destroyed as soon as something new is created. And usually it is a need. So we have new needs now. The world is changing. The ways that used to work don't work anymore. You have to do new things. That's because we're the dawning of the age of Aquarius, which is about modern technology, but it's also about a new earth where it's very balanced. It's very balanced, feminine and masculine, very spiritual and materially balanced times. That's how the earth comes back into balance, which is like, shall we say, the earth comes back into peace and harmony between the two, upholding all the opposing forces in our charts. So this Pisces eclipse, we have some sort of an awakening or some sort of spiritual upgrade where we eliminate and purge some lower density fear-based belief. You could, I mean, if it was in your ninth house like it is mine, you could have the ending of a religion. You could quit a religion. We'll go through all the 12 signs, and I'm going to pull tarot. You could have a spiritual awakening, and you suddenly study astrology. I started studying astrology with an eclipse in my ninth house on my MC Pisces. You just decide that you want to do something that's more in your soul and not living a false life anymore. Following your intuition is sort of like an eclipse where you feel very connected to what your soul desires, and you want to make some kind of big change and live a more authentic life. And because it's a spiritual eclipse, which means you shift from some sort of more material attachment to a more ethereal and spiritual perspective of that. So you may make a change. Like, for instance, if you're in a relationship that's not very spiritual connected, it's not a soul connected relationship, you wake up and you change the relationship, because if it's in your seventh house, you realize you want a higher vibrational, a divine love, which is the Pisces Pisces Venus. All right, so I don't want to make this take all night. Oh, so not for me, I don't mind, but I just, don't want to gabble on. I don't know what the word is I'm trying to find, but keep talking and not get to the cards, I guess. All right, so let's do this. I'm not the most comfortable coming onto YouTube and doing this, and I studied, my teachers do it all, so I'm trying to do it and learn how to do it, but it's not, my soul has not traveled this path before. I know many of us haven't, so I'm not, making excuses. That's why I have Saturn squaring Jupiter in my 9th and 12th house. I have to learn some things here. Okay, I have to start to learn how to do this technology to do these live streams. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at Aries. This eclipse is in your 10th, 12th house, which is very karmic, which is very past life, old beliefs, like old past life, and also fears around beliefs, fears about, because we're coming out of darker times, you know, the Kali Yuga and the Dark Ages. So we had fear. You got persecuted if you believed in the wrong religion, or if you believed in being psychic or using other forms of spiritual connections, and just even religious persecution and religious wars between. We've been in the dark era where we've been worshiping false gods, and shall we say, causing a lot of battle in that whole process. So there's some sort of wounding or fear or low density karmic resistance to a sort of spiritual perspective, which now opens you. You now become able to upgrade and understand some sort of new spiritual, being able to bring some of that back, which may have been lost or you were persecuted for. So you now are no longer afraid of it, or you're able to open up psychically again, or believe in it, or just spirituality, meditation. But also you could, now an eclipse in the 12th house, you could start traveling, or you want to go on a retreat. Aries, you maybe been working hard with Mars and Gemini, busy time. You want to go on a retreat and take some time off into the country for a while, or out in the world. But you're going to have a spiritual awakening. Jupiter also rules your 9th house. So big time, a total, maybe you get some kind of a download, some kind of a wake up around, you know, you could get some sort of ayahuasca experience, fifth dimensional experience, where you suddenly realize that we really do all love each other, or that there really are spirits, that you know, a lot of like Bill W. From Alcoholics Anonymous wrote a book about LSD and how spiritually awakening it was for him, and he recommended it. But anyway, I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying that this experience could be higher dimensional. You could get a visitation, a vision of your new destiny, your new path. All right, so let's pull some cards for Aries. And you could decide to go traveling. That, I hope I mentioned that, long distance travel. All right, so it looks to me like, ooh, Pentacles are coming out for Aries. I wonder why that is. So we do get the Aries card, we get the Emperor and the 10 of Cups. So Libra, Aries are going through eclipses in your 7th house in October, and you do have Mars in your 4th. So you are looking at starting a new, it's interesting because we have that new moon Virgo. We are going to have eclipses in Virgo. So we've got a lot of earth cards here. So it's like you're really needing, you're at a, it's possible some Aries are needing to take some new initiatives in earning and increasing their income. And so there's almost like a fear that's been blocking them from doing a way of working that is really a very powerful part of your destiny, where your money really is, or where you're supposed to go. But you've been blocking it because you have a sort of a fear of some sort of fear around it. And it could be that you're afraid of spirituality and there's something spiritual about it. Or maybe you're just afraid of doing something you really love, you know, that this psychic spiritual new moon eclipse, it's a partial lunar eclipse, full moon, reveals the source of your fears, and that you actually can open up to something more abundant. Like, for instance, you think everyone's going to think you're crazy and you want to be an astrologer, and you decide to be an astrologer. Like, you just suddenly, and you know you're really talented and you're gifted at it, something that you've been afraid to do that you really love. Like, for instance, you could be an actor. You really love it. Anyway, an opportunity can come in that really opens up that for Aries, a creative project, like a creative project that's really great, that could be really inspiring for you, but you don't want to do it because you have some sort of resistance to spirituality, and there might be a spiritual message in it, and it's kind of woo-woo for Aries. All right, so now we're going to go to Taurus. So Taurus, you're going to have this eclipse in your 11th house. And by the way, it is kind of a nice eclipse. There isn't really too much negative in it, other than that we do have Mars squaring the nodes, which will be an emotional potential outburst. Like, for instance, if you've been holding back in some way, taking action, because it's squaring the nodes, there's some sort of an emotional outburst which exposes something, or this anger makes you change direction, like you suddenly, and then you end up going the better way, like you could end a relationship. That could happen in this eclipse too. But the Libra eclipse is going to be about that big time. So these eclipses are already happening, and they're kind of merging. These energies are going to merge. The other eclipse is only like 3 weeks after that. Okay, so for Taurus, it's in your 11th house. So a whole new tribe that is, you could say bye to a group of friends or a group of people. And now you decide you meet a new group, or let's say a social media network, or this could be some kind of awakening to astrology, towards spirituality, towards connecting with the higher realms. You've got sort of Jupiter. Now Jupiter's transiting your 2nd house. It's in the sign of Gemini during this eclipse. Wow. And it's very much making a very beautiful kite at this particular hour that I'm looking at it. But anyway, so for Taurin, it looks really good. You could have some sort of win, lucky gain, some sort of opportunity, some sort of guidance for a long-term new goal that you want to reach for. And an eclipse in the 11th house is usually very positive. And Jupiter is in your 2nd. So it could, some kind of eclipse, some kind of you meet people, or you learn something online or through social media that shifts your belief systems, that makes you believe in something that you can really make money at, that is really in your heart. That's going to be the theme of this whole eclipse. I can already see it. Pulling 4 cards for Taurus. 2 cards for Taurus. You may end up quitting something on these eclipses, ending. What are they ending? They're ending. Taurans are ending. Interesting. Taurans are ending groups of people that have thrown them out of alignment, away from a very prosperous. So in other words, it's most likely like people who think differently, that or think you have a turnaround in the way you've been thinking, that opens you up to a new financial opportunity. And you've cleared karma around this too, that you could really, this is the sort of long term, that's like the 11th house, free of how you can be free of a trapped situation. Taurans are definitely working on that with this Uranus in their 1st house. Okay, so now let's get to Gemini. Gemini has this in your 10th house. So you're probably quitting one way of working and a whole new way of working coming in. And again, you have more. The other thing about this, the Pisces new eclipses, for instance, if I use astrology, I didn't know when that eclipse hit my 9th house in Pisces, that starting astrology was going to be my new life. I had no idea at that time. I just was fascinated by it, and I wanted to study it. So these new beginnings looked small at the time, but then it just became my whole thing, right? And I'll tell the story about it in my next video. I'm going to do a video about that. Maybe not my next one, but further down the line. So now we're going to look at Gemini, who are going to have a big spiritual. Now Pisces, so they may suddenly have faith in a project that doesn't look like it's necessary. That's the other thing about these spiritual new beginnings. They don't necessarily appear to be super the way you can make money. So some sort of endeavor or a career that may involve the arts or creativity or spirituality, or something like, for instance, let's just say a meditation studio, and it doesn't make any money, but this beautiful opportunity shows up, and you don't know how you're going to make enough money on a meditation studio, but this is going to open up something really much bigger to other stuff that's coming in, that's a spiritual center, that you creates a spiritual community, that a lot of these eclipses push us beyond our own limited minds. So some kind of, but this is, oh, I do know somebody who's changing, or you could change to your true career. Like you've been doing a career that's not your true career, and you have a more sort of soul calling type mission that you now set yourself on, because you know that it's spiritual, means that it's for humanity. Jupiter, that it's for humanity's highest good. It's benefic. It expands abundance. It makes life better. So let's do 4 cards for Gemini. The Fool, brand new beginnings that you have been very unsettled and uncertain about. You no longer are uncertain about, and you now, that Sun card is going to show up. So we're getting brand new beginnings about something you were confused about. You weren't sure about whether you should do it or not. You now fully know that you're ending that confusion. You're jumping all the way in. You've set yourself free of your confusion. You know what you want to do. And yes, by the way, the road to success is paved in struggle and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or healthy alternatives. But you get there, and it is very abundant. You are abundant. It's just the universe absolutely takes care of you and supports you on your path, on your true soul calling path. So I think a lot of Geminis are going to take some sort of a risk, in the sense that they seek out a soul desired path to go that is really more beneficial for humanity in general, advances civilization. Okay, so now we're going to go to Cancer rising. You have Mars in your first house, and again, you can look at your sun, moon. Mars in your first house. You guys are going to be pretty charged up and excited about things, and busy, and perhaps argumentative. So be careful. Very firm with your children. I was just firm with my son. Maybe very proactive with your family, putting in a lot of energy with your family, your home. Maybe moving, because you're going to have an eclipse in your 4th house here coming in that Libra eclipse on October 2nd. So you may have, because Mars is staying in Cancer till April, because it goes into Leo and goes back again. So maybe Cancer, you move, and you have all this Mars in your 1st house giving you a lot of energy to do that. So let's take a look. What else? Oh yeah, we're doing the Pisces eclipse. I got distracted. In your 9th house. So something really shifts for you in your, if whatever career you're in, spiritual sort of teaching, coaching, psychological assistance, spiritual guidance, astrology, tarot reader, psychic, journalist, traveler, philosopher, professor. But this is all about higher consciousness. This is also a very lucky house. And it is very much, and Jupiter's in your 12th house, also travel, other cultures. You could get in a relationship with someone of another culture if you have your Venus there. And then we have Jupiter in the 12th house. And again, a travel, and that's ruling this eclipse. So there could be travel, opportunities opening up to travel, teach. Let's see. I'm going to pull 4 cards and another new open set of beliefs. You could end a religion if you've been religious. You end a religion. You end an old belief. 9 of Swords comes out. 7 of Cups. So you become more, shall we say, open-minded about something. Usually it opens your mind up. Maybe you find out information that really changes your mind. And you know that you really want to do something. It's more spiritual, like astrology. That's what happened to me. That's what the reading is saying. So it's like stresses, some kind of a stress. By the way, these eclipses often can bring slight stressful situations. So crisis, I have to look at your chart. Feel free to contact me for a reading. So anyway, this is 9 of Swords. We do see potential stresses that makes you have to look at things open-minded. That's a 9. So you're ending some kind of a crisis can occur that that makes you see that what you've been thinking isn't necessarily opening up your options enough. So again, this is the kind of thing in this eclipse where we're opening up our options, where we've been limited minded and we really haven't been doing what our talent, what our Sagittarius energy, what we really love. So on some level, we're opening up higher to something that we love. I should pull out of this actually. So in other words, we're looking more at, there's only one thing that we do really. In other words, to not be so confused about all these options, because this is like a stress situation, feeling like you have to find other options, but stick with a talent and stick with the thing that's truly in your heart. All right, let me get that other thing. So now we are moving into Leo. So Leo, you guys have this eclipse in your 8th house. So there could be a crisis around debt, money, income, shared resources. There could be divorces. Saturn is there, which often means your spouse is not earning very much. And then you're really kind of perhaps going through financial toughness, but you know what? You're protected. You're going to do okay. Saturn always makes sure you're okay. So let's take a look and see what this eclipse is bringing Leo. Jupiter will be in your 11th house. So new contacts, new word of mouth. You could be getting a loan to run a business. Social media contacts, word of mouth is a good time for meeting people, new tribe. There we go. So, okay, so yeah, so we see this eclipse happening in your 8th house, which can sometimes be a big, deep fear opens up. You could have an experience like a psychic disturbance or some deep fear around spirituality. Really suddenly you break through it, or a deep fear in general about money, about taxes, and you could have a big breakthrough, a big transformation. You suddenly have more faith in yourself, more faith in, like you get over, you purge a deep fear around taxes and money, joint resources. And it could be crisis. You could get landed with some sort of a scary situation, but then there's some sort of spiritual solution around it. Or you just have a transformation because you're no longer, it breaks through your fear and you let go. And then that sort of opens you up to sort of, because you're going to have, so you've sort of opened up to more spiritual, like you let go and surrender. And so then the situation really evens out and you have sort of a spiritual awakening around money and resources, which is that you can trust the universe, that you are going to be okay and you don't have to carry these earth bone rattling fears. All right, so let's pull 4 cards for Leo. For Leo, let's take a look. 9 of Pentacles, that's nice. So financial, that's good. So you see, that's the 8th house. So yep, wow, we're going to get this card a lot. So what this Ace of Cups, basically, Leos are progressing very well towards something. They may think they're not, or that they're broke, or that they're afraid of being broke. An eclipse in the 8th, you're afraid of being broke. But don't worry, things are moving better than you know if you're in alignment with what you're doing and you love it. So that eclipse in your 9th house is basically going to show you that you're okay, and that something may appear that you're not. You may find you come in contact with a fear around that. Okay, I hope that's clear. That's, in other words, I feel like that's not quite clear. In other words, you're afraid because that's going to trigger a deep fear of being able to sustain financially. And then when you let go and you go, okay, well, that's that. If you have to pay a tax bill, then at the same time and you let go and you raise your frequency around that fear. You're no longer afraid of that. You have a transformation, and then some really abundant financial opportunity comes in because you stay doing what you love, and you just go, well, I'm just going to keep doing this, and now you have a breakthrough, a transformation. Okay, so now let's go to Virgo. So Virgo, this is in your seventh house, so there's a good chance you end a relationship if it is not of spiritual quality. You've got Jupiter in your 10th, so a lot of work focus, or yeah, a lot of energy and communication and instigating and career in your work. But with that seventh house eclipse, you're ending a big major partnership. You're ending, it could be any kind of a contracted partnership agreement that you're ending. Could be a marriage divorce, could be a contract, you could be moving and it's ending you sell a house, so you ending a contract with your mortgage company. I mean, these are any kind of a contract agreement. Now the eclipse is in your seventh house, so a relationship is very much going away. And a new one, but whatever comes in is more spiritual and more soul connected and more part of your true destiny. Jupiter is more of a part of your calling, which is what we were made for. So the new relationship coming in is going to be more flow with your, and with Saturn there, by the way, all these new beginnings are about 30-year cycles. These are long-term beginnings. So more spiritual relationship, a soul twin flame, your divine mate, or even if it's not your divine mate relationship, it can be a soulmate contract relationship or clients. Or business partnership and client. You have Mars in your 11th house. You could be meeting people that are word of mouth, action, taking a lot of initiative, meeting people and networking is going to do very well for you. So then we get the Ace of Pentacles here. Wow. So it looks to me for Virgo, we get the Knight of Cups. So we get the Knight of Cups, then we get the 10 of Cups. So this is the relationship moving in with somebody. I think ending everything else, a new beginning in a living and moving in with a divine mate cup. This is the divine love, the heart, see, emotion, heart. This is Pisces, water, the love relationship. And then we're ending everything else, new beginning. All right, so now we're going to go to Libra. So Libra, you're going to have an eclipse in your first house about 2 weeks after this. So this is this Pisces eclipse is in your 6th house. So you're really ending some habits, some bad habits, some addictions, possibly escapist stuff. If you have planets there, you're quitting. Shall we say, you could be firing a employees, or there could be conflicts with enemies, unseen enemies, and negative, because frustration, stress is ending situations that are frustration and bad vibes, or just lower density. And so sort of like now becoming more determined to find the true spiritual path, a new day-to-day way of living that's more soul, or shall we say creative flow. You want to change your life day-to-day, new beginnings in sort of like a more spiritual approach to living rather than a material, because it stresses you out. So you want to simplify your life. Now, and that could be ending because you're going to have the eclipses south node right there. So you're going to be ending relationships that aren't part of your flow life. You want to calm your life down and take more walks and meditate and learn about the cosmos. So so let's pull some cards for Libra. Yay, we are at the 7th house. So let's see how we'll do for Libra with 4 cards. For Libra, we have Pentacles, joint partnerships. Well, that's very 6th house in a way because it's a Virgo house. Wow. Ooh. So interesting for Libra. We get this. There's that co-collaborative partnerships. sixth house, because it's a Mercury. This is Gemini and Mercury, but Earth, so that's very Mercury. So we get ending karmic situations to collaborate with somebody that's true love. And you're going to have an eclipse in your first house, so you're really releasing toxic karmic relationships. That's very simple. And when I say karmic, I mean relationships that are based in material, fear-based attachments, superficial, for something that is more of an internal connection, that you have feelings like it's love is a heart choice, not a head choice. That kind of a shift. All right. So now we're going to go on to Scorpio, and Scorpio has these eclipses in your fifth. So you're going to end friendships, conflicts with friendships, but you will have a spiritual awakening around the kind of friends you've been trying to make or trying to hold on to. And now you could find soulmates in this eclipse, soulmate friends. A relationship could come in that is a true soulmate or spiritually aligned relationship that could last a long time with that Saturn there. I'm not really going into Neptune because we've got enough to talk about as it is. But anyway, with the Saturn there, this could be turned into a very committed long-term relationship, and it would be, shall we say, or I guess what I want to say is it could also be a creative project, or you could get pregnant. So, and then we get the Hangman. So we're looking at shifts in relationship, friendships. Now, if you're an actress, you could get a job to perform. You're going to have Jupiter in your eighth house. So that's, you could be getting in debt, and maybe this eclipse brings you an opportunity that really helps your debt out, can end it. Jupiter in your eighth house can expand debt, but then at the end of that, there's usually some sort of really wonderful way out of it. So you're letting go. So wow, interesting. So yeah, so Scorpio are with that. Scorpio are letting go of stressful situations, stressful and releasing Hangman, letting go of some sort of superficial, the Ten of Pentacles, stresses, superficial friendships for true relationships. That Libra eclipse is coming in, and ending karmic relationships. And when I mean that, I mean the cyclical relationships that are not based in love, that are based in either lust, money, ego, what we think, what our parents think. It's not love, right? Okay, so now we're going to go towards to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you're going to have this eclipse in your fourth house. So there's a good chance you're moving. And again, they can come with challenges or struggles, but you're going to have an awakening because you're going to see that the divine really does have your back on some level, but there is some sort of like shift in your family situation, living situation. You could buy or sell a property, but there's something about this move and this shift that is more spiritually aligned, more fulfilling, more meaningful, living in a more meaningful, moving really to something that's more spiritually, maybe going out into the country, moving to the country, feeling like you need to make a big shift. My son is Sagittarius son, maybe that's him. Or just really having to change something, moving in with somebody or someone moving in with you, or there's some sort of major construction project that creates a better, more zen, peaceful living environment. Let me think. Creates more room in the house, so there's more space. Now remember, Pisces is water, so you could decide to go move to live near water. So 4 cards for Sagittarius. So we're getting really a lot. Now, where is Jupiter in your 7th house? So we're looking at a collaborative involving relationships. Maybe a relationship starts and you move because you have Jupiter in your 7th house. So anyway, so for Sagittarius, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Cups, Hierophant, and the Strength. So it's like it's basically some really good progress in something that you do love, So don't give up, but have suddenly fourth house. So it's like this is kind of the Hierophant is Taurus energy. But you have to sort of be strong and maybe I would say disciplined, because that Saturn being there's some sort of commitment to a recommitment to being kind of like positive or having faith in something. So it's almost like something falls apart and you have a renewed commitment in it, in something that you truly love. But in your fourth house, it involves perhaps moving, making progress in some sort of financial endeavor that you really love, that you've had to be very strong and be positive minded about, because it's very hard for Sagittarius to have patience. Then possibly opens up a contract for you. I'm just have to pull another card. Makes you very happy and able to move. I mean, that could be what's happening, because you're ruled by this eclipse rules you, Sagittarius. You're ruled by Jupiter. So, and your Sagittarius is in your first house. So this is a pretty significant eclipse for Sagittarius and Pisces. So it's possible that some benefit thing comes in that is really soul aligned, that is more of a spiritual, when I say spiritual, it's more of our soul rather than our ego. It's more of a faith-based idea than a security-based idea. More of I want to say risk, because that's Scorpio. It's more like you know what, this would be beautiful. It would be a wonderful thing for the world if I do this. I want to do it, but I don't know how to make money at it, but I'm going to go do it because I feel that's that Neptunian energy. I feel like it's going to be better for the world, and it's beautiful. And it is, and you will be okay because it's ruled by Jupiter, which means you'll be supported. So, so for Sagittarians, you're going to be adventurous, taking your neck out and leading and initiative, because it's your ruling planet Jupiter in this eclipse, moving, and hopefully some kind of a joint contract comes in with that Jupiter there where you can really increase your income and enabling you to upgrade your living situation. All right, now we're going to move to Aquarius. I'm sorry, Capricorn. Capricorn, if this is having an eclipse in your third house. So sometimes third house eclipses, siblings can pass away, neighbors, who else? Neighbors around you, you move because the neighbors around you are totally different. You can get in a relationship with third house eclipses because somewhere else in your chart, you move in with this other person and you have a whole new set of people around you, a new family, new groups of people. You end a whole group of people. There could be conflict with siblings. You could end a relationship with a sibling, or a neighbor, or a work colleague. Eclipse there. Now, again, this is because something spiritually isn't on alignment. It's more of an ego-based setting. Again, you're just kind of these are situations where it's sort of like the soul has to kind of make this, the soul needs to move or change or its environment. And it's like, you just kind of intuitively feel you need to change your environment, or the shift is coming. And you know that because it's in your third and your ninth, you're going to have some kind of a new belief. You're going to have a new awakening about it. It's almost like you decide to change your environment or become in a new neighborhood that's more peaceful, more water, more nicer people, or you want to leave your neighborhood because the people aren't nice, and you have a spiritual belief. You want higher consciousness people around you, that kind of a thing, because Jupiter is in your sixth house. So that's trying to help you grow consciously through frustrations and help you have a better day-to-day life and spiritual practices, and can it expand, frustrations, of course. But then we've got that eclipse. I get the Libra card eclipse showing me you're in your 10th house. You could be ending a job and therefore moving. Or so let's take a look. So we do have that Libra house ending. You might quit a job. It disappoints you. It doesn't make you happy in the future. And then you have a much better job if that happens. So yeah, the third house is also work too. But victory is the outcome in an eclipse. Whatever happens in the eclipse, whatever changes occur, are for our highest good. Therefore, our true destiny. We're shifting to our true fated destiny. It's in the nodes of the moon when you were born. Okay, so Aquarius, we've got and by the way, I don't know how to answer questions. So oh, that's true. Oh, hi. That is true. There's a person here. Yay. Oh, yay. Okay, I'm new at this and just stumbling through. Okay, where am I? Did I lose my space? Oh, there I am. Did I lose me? No. Where are I? Okay, good. All right, almost over here. So we're going to look now at, we are looking at Aquarius. So this puts this in your second house. So I'll tell you this, I was married for a while. I had alimony for like a year and a half. And on an eclipse in my second house, the alimony just went kapoof. And I started working as a reader. Like I was already reading before, but I started on like I was always doing word of mouth. So I think I started like a website and I started like really seeing it as like the way I was going to really, the job that I was going to put all my energy into. Like it was a career choice. And so, so that's what an eclipse in the second house is. You have a new choice of career, new way that you start earning money. One way goes away, a new way comes in. And again, this is something that's much more spiritually aligned, like it's the thing that your chart trines, because like me becoming a reader has worked out very well for me and is very natural and really in my nature to do. And it is of spiritual assistance to the world, I hope. So these shifts and these eclipses are putting us on a path that is more of our higher calling, our Jupiterian, what we were made to do, that was going to make the world a better place. That is more of the need of higher consciousness or spirituality. So a new way of working that is higher consciousness and of service to the greater good, to the world, the psyche, spirituality, the higher, it could be a writing and creative project too. Don't forget, because Pisces is creative in your second house, a creative project that brings you a really steady income for the next 30 years. Because this is a 30-year new beginning. Oh, what happened? Okay, now Pisces. Am I still sharing? I don't think I'm sharing. Oh yeah, I don't need to. Okay. Oh wait, I didn't pull cards for Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. So Aquarius, 4 cards for Aquarius. I'm not sure if I pulled for Capricorn. Sorry, Capricorn. A Tower for Aquarius. We get the Tower, which is the Aquarius card. And they are ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is going back onto that algol spot. Just rapid shifts. So it's like things moving quickly. So for Aquarius, oh no, I'm sorry. I got to go back there. Sorry, Aquarius. I didn't pull cards for Aquarius. So let's just look at them. Okay, so big tower change, big shift in your life, because this eclipse is happening in your second house of financing. So maybe a way that goes away, that makes money, that is pretty upsetting. But don't worry, you're soon to be emotionally stabilized by a new contract. Then this Libra eclipse comes up, which is in your 9th house. So I would say that a big change and shift that could be ending some kind of a contract, but the outcome is better emotional stability. And the other card would be that comes out, letting go, and then becoming free, liberated from some sort of stuck situation, liberated. Makes me want to look at the chart again really quick. Hang on a minute. Yeah, so Uranus is, ruled by that Tower card. It's sort of that sudden changes, and it's in your second house. So An eclipse is the energy of that, can be the energy of Uranus. It's sort of wild cards. It's hard to know exactly. So I would say it's possible a financial crisis could occur, but it would have been something that was out of alignment, way of earning money, or some form of income that if there's a crisis, it's okay because this better, new, more spiritually aligned or soulfully aligned with your true calling comes in. Jupiter's in your fifth house, so creative project. Maybe you're supposed to shift and start becoming more creative and take more risks in creative projects, and you've been too Capricornian. So, okay. So now we're going to go on to Pisces, back to Pisces. And Pisces is in your first house. And let's pull. So everything that we've talked about earlier, I don't want to shortchange Pisces, but you know, your whole identity changes. You become a new version of you. And again, you become more awakened to your higher consciousness, wisdom. That's the other word I forget to use here, wisdom. You have an innate wisdom being a Pisces, and you tune into something. You could get a download. You have a new spiritual awakening to be more Piscean. You're going to have the eclipses here for the next 18 months. So your life changes, relationships could end. You might be in relationships that are not really higher spiritually. Venus in your sign wants a spiritual love. So if you're not in that, it's going to go by. Can come with, breakdowns and crisis around relationships. But you're going to become a more empowered person and way more independent after the end of these eclipses. And let me just look one more thing. What else? Jupiter is in your fourth house. So a lot of energy at home, writing, working, communicating, talking, planning, strategizing. Again, you could be moving, short distance traveling, working from home a lot. Or you could work in your neighborhood, get a job in the neighborhood. I know Pisces rising who might be doing that, walking. And that really enables you to take to follow your dream path. That's the other thing about Pisces. It's your dream, following your dreams. I wish I had put that at the beginning. So it's like we get to follow our dreams here. So the Sun card shows up for Pisces. And then we get the 10 of Wands and the 5 of Wands and the Hierophant. So basically for Pisces, we see this, the eclipse liberates us. These eclipses liberate us from a burdensome, stuck situation that clears the confusion about what you really want to commit to, because this is a relationship. This could be, so in other words, Pisces are going to obviously end relationships that are burdensome. They're going to set themselves free from contracts that are burdensome. That they just put themselves into, or situations that they committed to that was just to, shall we say, relationships that were just, well, this is also the first house. So it's more about situations that Pisces got into that were not really, they may have gotten burdensome by contracts or situations that were not in alignment for them that they break out of. So there's like an independence thing, breaking free from burdened contracts that cause conflicts. So setting yourself free, Pisces, in some way from a stuck situation, ending something. Yeah, Pisces, you're ending something, maybe ending a relationship, but also being in your power. This is going to put you more in your power. Clearing karma in time for that. That was the World card. In time for that Libra eclipse in October. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this, and feel free to leave comments, and please like and subscribe. Namaste. Thanks.